today's rockin' selection is Eric Clapton and J.J. Cale's Cocaine. This is the second song I've done a lesson on that was written by J.J. Cale and made even more popular by Eric Clapton, the other being After Midnight. Cocaine is actually an anti-cocaine song, but because it's a little bit misleading that way, and certainly for audiences I played it for in the 80s, who would shout the lyric out and actually as if it were in praise of cocaine. But because of that ambiguity, Clapton didn't perform it at a lot of his concerts throughout the 90s. He later added the lyric, "that dirty cocaine," to his version live, just to be really clear that it was and is an anti-cocaine song. Here's the very catchy, very important J.J. Cale song, Eric Clapton's Cocaine. Okay, let's get started. The path to enlightenment in the song Cocaine is really to understand that basic rhythm that drives the entire song, and then the little chord progression down. That's the only other part of the song to learn. So we have this. We have that, and then of course we have the... So this is all pretty simple, and we'll get to that just a moment here. And then what we'll do with that, once we get that bass down, we'll record that, and over top of it, picture in picture, we'll go through some riffs and fills. The thing to understand about this song is it's many guitars playing at once, or one guy playing many overdubs with guitar. And so there's lots of different things to learn, and too many to learn, but some of the really nice ones we'll go over, and we'll also talk about how to devise your own guitar solo based on playing along with. Okay, so that opening structure is just basically E5 and D5 power chords. You want a bit of an overdriven sound here, not so much so, not heavy metal, but just a nice overdrive. And so that's what we have to begin with. Now the way I'm playing this E5, really we're just picking down on 5 and 4 here, but just for my simplicity I just play the full A formation chord here. I use my pinky for that. Some of you may choose to use your third finger. I use my pinky and it bars down here. The important thing is that it catches the 9th fret of the 4th string, and then also the 3rd and the 2nd, but the most important is the 9th fret of the 4th string. And then I'm barring with my first finger, my index finger, I'm barring at the 7th fret. And really again, when I'm picking down, I'm aiming for 5 and 4. If I catch 3, it's okay. 5, 4, and 3 actually sounds pretty good. So I'm going to take that whole formation with my barring of the 7th fret and the A chord formation on the 9th fret, and I'm going to slide it down so that it's 5 and 7. And I just use downstrokes for that. Following that, we've got just a percussive. You're just going to lift. What you're going to do is lift your fingers off the strings so that they're just sitting on the strings, and they give you that mute. So it's... And there's a couple of strokes muted. So it's down, 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 down. So once you get that basic chord pattern down, we can start talking about the little fills and things that we can put in to enhance this song, and also talk about the soloing in the E minor pentatonic scale. So again, let's just play through this a few times so we get the feel of this. We'll go through, say, 6 times here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Now she don't lie, that part, that is a downward progression of the same chord. It's a 5 chord, so we're going from E5 to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down to D5, 2 more frets down to C5, 2 more frets down and finish on the B5 chord. Okay, so it's the timing that's important here. She don't lie, she don't lie, she don't lie. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as the vocal, as it corresponds with the vocal, that chord is being strummed on the word lie. She don't lie, she don't lie, she don't lie. 2, 3, 4. Cocaine. She don't lie, she don't lie, she don't lie. 2, 3, 4. Cocaine. All right, what I thought we'd do next is listening through all the little things that are going on, all the little riffing and picking that's going on in the background and around that bass. Around that and in and out and through it, I've come up with 4 little riffs that I think you can play along with this. In other words, you don't have to have another guitarist play them. You can. And that's riff number 1. And so we'll go through them one at a time. The first riff, right after you play 2, is just, and it's hammering on and off the 5th string, 2nd fret with your 2nd finger. So it's, you have to play with that a little bit. I mean, you'll get the feel of it in terms of what the normal, the right length of the hammer-on is. It's just one beat. So. Like that. So we'll do that slow-mo for you. Here we go. That's riff number 1. Okay, riff number 2, if I were to sing it to you, would be down, 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 down. So the easiest way to find it from what we're playing here is when we're down here. So it's your first finger's right there anyway, so we're going to play 5th fret of the 5th string, and then with our 3rd finger, 7th fret of the 6th string. So it's 5, 7, 5, 7, and then just grab our 1st finger and just bend a little bit that 3rd fret, and then the open 6th string. So it's to put it into the riff with the rhythm. Okay, again in slow-mo. And that's riff number 2. All right, well, we're halfway through the riffing of the 4-bar intro. Riff number 3 is probably the most difficult, so pay attention. It's... So we begin, and now for me it's the pinky finger again, because when I'm doing the barring, it's the pinky finger that's barring here. If you're on the 3rd finger, you're going to be using your 3rd finger for the first note of this riff. But for me it's the pinky. So my pinky's already there. I go from the 7th fret of the 3rd string. I got to go 7, 4, and 7 on the 4th string. Da, 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 like that. Now I can either use the pinky to play that 7th fret of the 4th string, or I can switch over to the 3rd finger, which I tend to do. Now the last bit of the riff is, so I take my 1st finger, I'm on the 5th fret of the 4th string, and I'm going to hammer up to 6 with my 2nd finger, and then play 7 and 5 on string 5. So it's very slowly, it's... time. And that's riff number 3. All right, the final riff is perhaps the easiest, so it's nice to end on an easy note, or notes, so to speak. And we're just going to hammer from A, open A string, up to that B with a bit of a wiggle, and play the open A again, and then the G with a bit of a wiggle. You can even try hammering it if you like, if you're good at that, but wiggling is just fine. So it's hammer to B, open A, hammer to G, open E. So fitting in with the rhythm. Slowly. All right, so the thing to do now is practice all 4 of those riffs. And I'm going to play through the intro, inserting those riffs after each of the... we'll put them in there, and then we're going to continue playing and singing the first verse along with... So we'll have the intro and a verse and that concluding She Don't Lie part. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. If you wanna hang out, you gotta take her out. Cocaine. If you wanna get down on the ground, cocaine. She don't lie, she don't lie, she don't lie. Cocaine. All right, just before we get into some of the lead work, here's a little riff you can throw in every time you play this. You can hear it in there a lot playing this. And all I'm really doing there is just sliding up to the 9th fret of the 4th and 3rd strings. And I pick when I get to 9, slide up, and then pick 9 on each string. Then the D5 chord. So all right, just something you can put in from time to time that fills in the song a little bit. All right, the solo work in this song, and this is the fun in the song. You've got an absolutely great rhythm chop. And you know, you could improv with the guys in the band all night on this. Anybody that wants to take a turn can take a solo, and it doesn't even have to be guitar. Obviously a keyboard solo or a sax or whatever you've got in your band. But it's based on the E minor pentatonic scale, which are all these notes. So climbing up there, and so just about anything you do in that within the range of that scale is going to sound pretty good, and you can have some fun with it. There's a few little things that are a little bit special, like there's this, that bend where you're on 12 here on the 1st string and bending up 15 on the 2nd string. And that's in there. There's a lot of this bend. Where we're on 12 of 1 and 2 and bending up 14 of the 3rd string. There's a lot of double stops like this, that one there, which is on the 12th fret of the 2nd and 3rd string. And that classic riff is in there a couple times. that. So again, holding 12 on 1 and 2 and bending up on 14. That riff is in there a lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to let you guys, you don't have to do what I do, but I'll just show you some options here. And we'll play through that, we'll say 12 bars of guitar solo. And I'll just play through it picture in picture and give you some ideas there. 1, 2, 3. All right, well, I'm certainly no master guitar player, but that gives you some ideas just working around in that scale, which is basically working from the 10th fret here in the 6th string to the 12th and 14th frets on the middle strings, and then up a little bit here up to the 15th fret on the 2nd string. And some of these traditional sort of riffs and whatnot are fun to put in there. All right, fine tuning for Cocaine. Again, just managing and learning that basic rhythm chop, which is just great. Great because it facilitates a lot of improvising and playing through and playing along. We didn't learn all the tiny little bits that are in this song. You can listen for them and add them in. We didn't put this in, which is in there a lot. A lot of little things in this song. It's a simple song that a lot of little intricacies were added to by Eric Clapton and the guys in the studio. All right, there you go. J.J. Cale via Eric Clapton, Cocaine. We'll see you next time on Song Mentor.